It wasn't the question that ended my marriage. It was the word again.
Okay.
Our neighbor smiled over the fence while watering her roses and casually asked, "Is Ryan visiting again today?" My husband stopped raking leaves. I stopped breathing. Because Noah had never heard the name Ryan before, people think affairs fall apart because of one reckless mistake: a forgotten phone, a lipstick stain, a hotel receipt. Mine ended because a friendly neighbor remembered something I desperately wanted everyone else to forget. Ryan wasn't supposed to come to my house. That had always been the rule. Hotels, his apartment, anywhere except my neighborhood. Anywhere except the place where people noticed unfamiliar cars. For almost a year, we followed that rule. Then one afternoon, my washing machine broke. Ryan had spent years working construction before changing careers. He offered to take a look. "It's just one visit." That's what I told myself. One visit became another. Then another. Sometimes he fixed little things. Sometimes we just drank coffee. Sometimes he stayed longer than he should have. Noah traveled often, usually 3 or 4 days every month. The neighbors knew his schedule almost as well as I did. They noticed when his truck wasn't in the driveway. Apparently, they noticed Ryan's truck too. Our next-door neighbor, Mrs. Harper, had lived there for nearly 30 years. She knew every birthday, every anniversary, and every dog's name. She brought soup when people got sick, cookies at Christmas. She wasn't nosy. She was simply always outside, always smiling, always paying attention. The Saturday everything ended began with yard work. Noah wanted to clean up before winter. Leaves covered the lawn. The garage door stood open. The radio played softly. It felt like one of those slow weekends married couples are supposed to enjoy. Mrs. Harper leaned over the fence, holding a basket of fresh tomatoes. "Morning." Noah smiled. "Morning." They chatted about weather, the neighborhood, the new family down the street. Nothing unusual. Then she looked at me. "Oh, I almost forgot." She smiled warmly. "Is Ryan visiting again today?" Silence. Complete silence. Noah slowly lowered the rake. "I'm sorry. Who?" Mrs. Harper blinked. "Ryan, the nice young man. He usually parks that gray truck over there." She pointed toward our driveway. "I haven't seen him in a couple weeks." My knees felt weak. Noah looked at me, then back at Mrs. Harper. "You know Ryan?" She laughed. "Of course. He always waves." Another pause. "I thought he was helping Claire while you traveled." Every sound disappeared. The birds, the radio, the wind, everything. Mrs. Harper finally noticed nobody was smiling. "Oh." Her face fell. "Was I not supposed to say that?" Noah answered gently. "No." Another pause. "But I'm glad you did." She looked horrified. "I'm so sorry." He shook his head. "You didn't do anything wrong." She quietly hurried back into her yard, still carrying the basket of tomatoes. Noah stood perfectly still. "When did you find out?" I whispered. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he finished gathering one pile of leaves. Carefully. Patiently. Then he leaned the rake against the garage. 6 months ago. 6 months. 6 months of dinners, movie nights, family birthdays, Sunday mornings. 6 months of him already knowing. Every memory suddenly felt different. The patience, the calm, the quiet. He hadn't been pretending everything was normal. He'd simply stopped expecting honesty. "I knew someone was coming here." He said quietly, "I just didn't know his name." The sentence hit me harder than yelling ever could have. I saw the tire tracks. I noticed little repairs around the house I never made. The loose gate. The washing machine. The porch light. I just kept waiting. For what? He looked across the fence. Mrs. Harper had gone back to trimming her roses. For someone to accidentally tell me who he was. The tears finally came. I'm sorry. He nodded. I believe you are. Another long silence settled between us. Then he walked into the house, returned carrying a large manila envelope. Divorce papers. Already signed. Already dated. Already waiting. He placed them on the hood of his truck. I wasn't looking for proof. He looked toward the neighboring house. I was waiting to learn whether another man had become ordinary. I frowned through tears. What do you mean? He smiled sadly. Neighbors only remember people they see often. Another pause. She didn't recognize Ryan because she saw him once. He looked at the fence. She recognized him because he became part of the neighborhood. The words hollowed me out. Ryan hadn't been a secret anymore. He'd become familiar, expected, normal. Noah picked up the envelope, handed it to me. I could have forgiven one terrible decision. He glanced toward the driveway. I don't know how to forgive another man becoming part of our street. He quietly walked inside, closing the front door behind him. I stayed in the yard until sunset. The leaves still scattered across the lawn, the rake still leaning against the garage. Mrs. Harper waved once before going inside. She had no idea what she'd done. For months, I blamed her. I told myself she should have minded her own business, that she should have kept quiet. Eventually, I realized the truth. She hadn't exposed my affair. She hadn't betrayed me. She hadn't even been gossiping. She'd simply asked an innocent question about someone she'd seen often enough to remember by name. And the moment my neighbor smiled and asked, "Is Ryan visiting again today?" I finally understood that my biggest mistake wasn't the affair itself. It was letting another man become so ordinary that even the neighbors assumed he belonged there.